I'll be calling your article. This is important for all you people in Oregon. And is this what Tim Martin says? They lie. And he says he's the #1 salmon guide in Oregon. So this is the Chinook number for yesterday, 5,383. Here's the Stillhead number for the day, 702. Okay, let's get to this. Okay, now let's stay on this. This is important historic stuff. We got to stay on this because it runs over pretty well. Let's go to graph right off the get. Stay with me. Thank you to, they used to not even put these out, but they're all over it now. Let's get to the Stillhead graph first because the canary in the coal mine. Kevin Blanch. Oh no, this canary ain't dead. Okay. You can see the run's pretty well done. It's that time of year. It's fall tomorrow. 10-year mean is a disaster. But okay, let's get back to totals. Now you can remember that total, right? Everybody got that? Then your kids, everybody's got that total. Then we'll get Chinook. And we got that total, right? Okay, here we are. Let's go to the Stillhead total. Just under 60,000. Let's go to annual totals. It's all coincidence. Coincidence don't get it in science. This software will give us 10 years. Let's go the year before. Get as much as we can here. Let's go all species. Remember, salmon don't live in rivers here. They live here. And they come home here. All of them, almost all of them, natural salmon live in this range. This is the 2.5 mile wide, 400 tributaries Columbia River. What's the Japanese current? Remember the bridge after the disaster landed at Gold Beach right there in 6 days. Fish swim. This is their home here. The peninsula, remember with that catastrophe here, right here, when everything washed up dead in 2019. Greenpeace will get right back to you. The only person who got back to you was Kevin Blanch. Okay, let's get totals. Okay, Stillhead. 2010, 416,000. Now stay with me, this is important stuff. So, as they come in, they gill net in front of the Bonneville Dam on the Columbia River. Legal. Natives and commercials. They split it up. Gill netting. Gill nets don't lie, they take out every fish. They have quotas. In this year, they took out 410,000. I've verified that through ODFW. So you can double that. You can put that number. It's 826,000. They immediately start to decline. So what happens here? They stopped gill netting here. They pulled the gill nets here in 2019. 2019, 77,000. You just saw the number for 2021. 60,000 with no, they stopped gill netting. They gill netted for 2 weeks this year. If I understand, they took out less than 10,000. We go from 816,000 to 60,000. We can do math. 96% collapse. Let's go over here to Chinook. 809,000, 677,000, and you can double that number. They took out over 700,000 here gill netting. They took out 900. I verified that. Same year, they took out 600,000 here, 112,000, 150. These are after gill netting. That number is 15,000. Well, this is post Fukushima, right here. That number I have verified with the takeout in front of the dam with the gillnades, one is 2.7 million. Okay, so record returns. Chinook salmon go to sea for 5 years. Kevin Blanch, and they'll collapse on Q in 2016. Their ODFW didn't know projections were right here, and their projections are good. They were dead on right there. Their projections were 2.7 million after the gill nets, 2.3 million. They were dead on. They were dead on here, dead on, because they know based on escapement, record escapement. They don't live in rivers. They live here. It's not a pasture. It's the Pacific Ocean. Remember, the Fukushima disaster happened in 2011. So they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. They start to freak out. I put my projection here at 680,000. They put theirs at, after the gill nets, they put theirs at 1.7 million. Blanch is right. They started, whoa, what's his luck? I put my projection here at 480,000. They put their projection at, after the gill netties over the dam, they put their projection at 1.9 to 2.1 million. Blanch is right, once his luck, twice his skill. I put mine at 333,000. They had theirs at 2.3 million. Then they lowered to 1.9 million. That's how much escapement. Whoa, whoa, that's when they started to freak out. And they come out of us, well, they're dying in the sea. So this is when they quit gill netting. They stopped gill netting. No gill netting. No gill netting. So you can double that. You cut that number in half. I put my projection at 280,000. They had theirs at, they'd lowered projections after gill netting to 1.3 million. Let's go back. You can argue that's what good science does, is what Kevin Blanch has done. Okay, let's go back. So 430,000. The run's pretty well over. 430,000 from 2.7 million. No gill netting. They gill netted for 10 days this year. 10 days. They took out less than 40,000 from what I understand. Now I'll stay on this. Graphs help a lot, I think. Let's go to the Chinook graph. You can see the 10-year mean. We're so far under the 10-year mean. 4,000. You saw the number. 5,000. We had way, way less than that yesterday. They haven't put it into the graph yet. Stay with me. Important. We'll talk about norm a little bit. Historic work. Now the 10-year mean's extremely low. This is the stillhead. This is a nightmare. Smoking gun of Fukushima, it's an arguable science. Let's walk out here so we can talk. We're at the infamous Stewart Library, which this is the same library that Edward Abbey did his work. Melvin Dumar forged Howard Hughes' will right there where I'm sitting. Mark Hoffman had a key to special collections. Just the greatest forger in human history. You don't think Mark Hoffman had a mind like a trap? I used to see him. He had a key to special collections in here. Did he really get documents? No doubt in my mind. So, just look up when he took the polygraph. Got the highest score you can possibly get on the polygraph. Who can do that? Oh, he did it. So let's walk out here and let's talk about Norm's cancer. So I just found this out. Peter just called me and said that his brother said it was acute, so he died of AML. Now, let's stay with me. Norm's the same age as I am. Loved his work. His work on OJ, his work on the Clintons is so, I love that guy. God, he was good. He got sick, from what I understand, the exact same time I did. Now, as you know, this is important. I lost my aortic valve replacement necklace fell apart, so I need a new aortic valve replacement necklace. They keep falling apart. So I'm going to make a badge, and I'm going to put my Bax card in there. I'm aortic valve replacement. I'm going to call my Fukushima credentials, so I can try to get to Italy here. I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. I've got to get to DC. I got a lot of things on my plate. Got to get back working tide pools. Kevin Blanch, one-man band, marine biologist in Desert, Utah. So he made it 10 years. Now, I don't know who was treating him, but somebody was treating him. Did he have a transplant? My guess, yes. He's been very quiet about his cancer, which, by the way, we know that being open again. Why do you think I've been so open? My PhD was this, before I got it. Rachel Carson people says, you're going to be the next Rachel Carson. We love her. I said, I'm not martyring myself for no one. I'm going to live through this. I have AML de novo, so if I can make it in a few more weeks, I will be the first person in the country, according to my doctors, that is willing with this new treatment program to make it the 10-year mark with AML de novo, with a marker that high, without a transplant. I willingly did it without a transplant. Because Fimbo Peterson, when I was quarantining top of the LDS East State, thought that the transplant would kill me. Brian Morris was the pioneer in front of me. Marshall Jensen, the incredible pioneer who got the first HIV, was in the room next to me. Carla on the other side. The world-class decathlete, Nancy Peterson, in the room around me. Tragically, Nancy and Marshall died the same day. Of course, Carla Hennessy would run the thing. We love her. Kevin and Carla, they call it. She had the same thing as mine. Her marker was even higher than mine. She tragically passed. All of them passed to the next place. Only the good die young. So, I hope we find out more about his cancer. But if he made 10 years, and his brothers are reporting it as acute, that life expectancy of acute leukemia is less than 6 months. It's actually about 90 days. And we know it spiked post-Fukushima in a dramatic way. I went to the bone marrow transplant on 11/11/11. First off, here at the Weber State, incredible campus that I do my work. I have my whole life. I want to give a call out to our good friend Nick Vigil, who's from here, and I'm friends with he comes from a great family. His Uncle Mark, who's one of the really true great people that work in this town with troubled youth, who tragically lost his Iraqi veteran son, who his nephew, Nick, had a pick 6 in the NFL yesterday. He's from here. We love that family. Call out to Mark. By the way, Weber State refused to recruit the Vigil boys. That was before Jay Hill got here. We love him. What he's done here is, it's more than football. It's way more than football. So, of course, the university turned my back on me. And by the way, Jay's wife's a leukemia survivor. So, we have a lot in. You better have some skin in the game, Blanche. Oh boy, give him 2 months to live. It's been a hell of a journey. So, I had the mushroom root, RCM squared, one of the first ones, in 3 rounds, and I wasn't recovering, so I walked the entire coast of California trying to survive. It's been a hell of a journey. Mike Lee kicked me out, Medicaid, wives. The chemo that I worked was a Hail Mary. I was going to be dead in days. I was on death's doorstep. I went from 175 to 119. I went from 175 to 130 in 3 weeks. Misdiagnosed over and over and over. Vincent stepped in, who I've known since I was a kid, and he saved my life. Talked to Fimbo Peters from Copenhagen to take him. And he personally went to work on me. I'm alive. You really need to, I'll never forget it. In there, and he says, Kevin, this disease that you have, this cancer, is so bad. You know that. There's a study I found in North Korea. It's hard to find these studies. This doctor here and this doctor in Texas. And I reached in my bag. I says, oh, you mean those studies? He says, you're all over it, and so He says, I can buy you 1 or 2 years of life, maybe even 3, maybe 4. Probably guarantee that, but then you're going to die. We can take a chance. You know, we can do some different things. And, you know, it's a long shot, but you might live to be an old man. I went all in without hesitation. And so, 3 rounds, my body couldn't take it anymore. It wore out my valve. I had open heart surgery, as you know. It wore my gallbladder, almost killed me. I was due to have it out in 2015. Mike Lee kicked me off Medicaid when he did his idealistic stand on wiped all single males off Medicaid. I was in an acute bone marrow transplant center when I got kicked off Medicaid. I forked over, almost $1 million of stock. It bankrupted me. Well, not bankrupted, just wiped me out. I don't know how I didn't lose my house. You know, it's been a hell of a journey. You know, and I had to go. I mean, so Norm, we found out today, was acute. Now, if he lived 10 years with acute leukemia, I don't know who was treating him, but that's a hell of an accomplishment. But he made the 10-year mark. I don't know who was treating him, but he must have done a hell of a job. You know, you don't make 10 years with acute leukemia. He did. He did. Well, mine like a trap. So we love him. He used to go after the Clintons, and he went after the OJ thing. I mean, he went after them, boy. You know, we need people like that on Fukushima, but they won't let us. You know, so the fight goes on. I'm getting close to that 10-year mark. Like the night's October 9th. You know, and so, of course, they try to hijack it. Mark Harrison, who's head of the IHC, almost killed me. The president, he's got cancer, and he doesn't even have acute cancer. And he's grandstanding like he's all that after he got what he did. I mean, they sued me over and over and over. It's all right. The good, the bad, the ugly. I saw the best of the healthcare system. I saw the worst. Still do. You know, I'm losing my teeth now because of the heavy chemo. But I'm being dead, as my doctor says. And I had open heart surgery. It's better than being dead. You know, Thomas Blanch is my relative here who saved my life in the grave. Don't let them open you on that organ valve and tell you unless you're going to die. And they did it the old way. They split me open. Doctor walks in. Dr. Connors, who just split me open. Hope I was nice to you when you was a kid. Because I coached youth athletics in this town forever. You better hope I'm going to hold your heart in my hand for 6 hours. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to split you open. Well, how was it? Oh, my God. It's so horrible. You know, those few... to recover from that is a nightmare. Well, it's better than being dead, right? By that much. It's better than being dead. I mean, it's painful, and it's been a hell of a struggle for 10 years, but... You know, to everybody that's lost their fight, they don't lose. Only the good die young, and we got to quit saying that. The fight is the life. The Great Pacific Genocide, the greatest PhD in human history, Kevin Blanch. Not opinion. My salmon work right there just shows, not to mention my tideful work, not to mention all the world fighting back against these guys. And everybody's going to hold court. Scientists are going to fight, they're baffled, they're stumped, they're perplexed, they're bewildered. Everybody's going to stand ground, the well collapse, all this work. They're going to hold court. Okay, not me. Kevin Semmelweis, savior of Mother Earth, try to be. You know, in Vienna, at the IAEA, throw me in a rubber room and beat me to death. Semmelweis was right the whole time. Little invisible germs can't be flying through the air, then why would we all wear masks? Nuclear fallout can't come flying through there, then why we scare meltdowns until they happen? See no nuclear evil, hear no nuclear, speak no nuclear for their nuclear energy emperor. Oh, it has no close.